happy to be here, and I'm really looking at, next year will be 30 years in the business world for me, and that's a few years. And as I've thought about what have I learned in those 30 years, I really can think about those experiences. They generally group into two general situations. Times when I've been working with a net, when I've been a leader with a net, and times when I've been a leader without a net. Moving to Italy when you don't speak the language is like, you know, fine line between fear and confidence. And even going to the cereal division at General Mills, which is a scary, scary place. So if I look at those experiences, there is one, those without a net experiences, one key leadership skill keeps coming to mind for me that I really learned. And that was the ability to listen and really hear. So my first example is it helps in listening and hearing if you stop talking. Now you're all leaders. Leaders tend to talk a lot, okay? I was in a situation where I got transferred from Cincinnati, Ohio to Rome, Italy. And literally the second day I was there, I was asked to go to some focus groups in Rome. And guess what? They were in Italian. And then I just sat there and I listened to these Italians talking, and I didn't understand even one word they said. And then all of a sudden I noticed something. There were times when the energy level in the room was higher. The decibel level was higher. More people were fighting, ooh, 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 let me talk. And in those moments I said to the translator, what did they say? And he translated. And then I looked at him and I said, what do you think they meant? And it was a great opportunity to actually understand the difference between listening and hearing. And it was ironic to me. Here was a situation where I personally didn't have the skills to listen, but I actually was hearing because of that, because I didn't speak the language. I've had the great opportunity to work for some great leaders. I worked for A.G. Lafley. A.G. just retired as the chairman of the board and CEO of Procter & Gamble. And so A.G. was my boss, and he came in and he said, Scott, tell me what you know about the consumer. And I started quoting usage and attitude studies. I knew every number and this, because I'm a chemical engineer. I love numbers. And he said, when's the last time you talked to a consumer? And I must have had a blank stare on my face. And he said, well, we're going to fix that. Every Tuesday night, I would go into suburbia in Cincinnati, and I would go to a house, and I would be there to wash dishes. And sure enough, we'd go into the kitchen, there is a pile of dirty dishes. And I love the homes that had the double sink. And I'll never forget the time with the double sink. This housewife was teaching me how to wash. She said, now Scott, I want you to see something here. The left side of the sink, we're going to wash with Dawn. The other sink, we washed with Joy. She said, now look at how much better Dawn takes grease out of your way than Joy. Now here's what I knew that she didn't know. They were the exact same formulation. The only difference was color and perfume, and that has no impact on efficacy. But she could not see the difference. She couldn't believe that Joy did this. As a matter of fact, she didn't like Joy because she felt like it was just too sudsy. It was exactly the same as Dawn. But I listened to her, and I actually heard her. We went back, we took cleaning product out of the product. We got a cost savings. We got a side-by-side demo on rinsability that we put in our advertising. We grew market share. We had a more satisfied customer. I would have never heard her if I'd have read that somewhere, because I was the guy who made the decision to put more surfactant, more cleaning power in Joy to make it as good as Dawn. The second thing I want to talk about is how to practice humility versus you. I believe that fundamentally, whatever business you're in, it is secondary to what the consumer cares about. It's secondary. Nobody cares that much about their Cheerios. No one cares that much about their 7 Series BMW. They just don't. And so the first theme I want to hit on here is this idea of hitting evergreen emotional nerves. You know, I used to think that there were all new ideas. That sounded cool. But the reality is they're age-old ideas. The 9 pictures you have, I call that the quilt. In my mind, and these are for me, but these in my mind are the 9 emotional evergreen themes of life. They have nothing to do with cereal or cars or golf courses. Life. Anyone want to just help me? What's the upper left-hand corner? What one word comes to mind? Family, which is the ultimate relationship. Let's go down one. What is that? It's Da Vinci's symbol for what? And wellness. Okay? What's the big toothy grin? What's that bigger word than happy? Joy and pleasure. Thank you. Let's go to the top right. What's that book all about?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, exactly. What's the middle right? Yin and yang is what?
Yin and yang, yep.
Balance, thank you. What is, I got it right in front of me, what is the footprint in the sand? Impact, legacy.
Yeah.
Okay? What's the earth? It's not the environment. The environment is a subset of this. What's this group building to? What's a church? What's a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood?
Humanity.
Community. Thank you. You guys are good. They don't even need me, Paul. Okay? What's the hard one is the sun. What does the sun give you?
Energy.
Thank you. You guys are really good. And I always put the one in the middle, because I'm not sure if it's one of the 9 or if it's what all of them serve. But what is a hand on a ladder?
Help up.
One word. Progress.
Progress.
Okay? These are 9 evergreen things. Let me give you a practical example of how that helps you listen and hear. When you're 8 years old, what is your prime directive out of those 9 pictures? Which one?
Joy.
Fun.
Exactly. How many hours a day do you want to have fun when you're 8?
24.
Exactly. How do you feel about anything that gets in the way of the prime directive? Bad. Okay? How fast can you or your kids eat when they want to get back outside to play? Well, guess what? We're working on a project that is 15 years old at General Mills. It was called mobile yogurt. Now, that is not a consumer proposition. That's a business wish. But the management there thought that was a consumer proposition. 15 years, this idea called mobile yogurt had been on it. And we went out and we talked to kids and we worked with them, we listened to them, and we started to understand their prime directive. And then an interesting thing happened. We shot a commercial with a handheld camera and we showed a kid skateboarding, okay, while eating yogurt out of a tube. And another kid looking with his skateboard under his arms at this kid as he was eating it out of a cup of yogurt with a spoon, okay? When kids saw that, they lit up, because a kid is like an F-15 fighter, and they don't want to land, put more bombs on and refuel. They want to refuel in the air. They want a tube to come out of the sky and they want to refuel. And the kids saw that. And when we listened and heard the passion kids have for it, it was a really hard project. The packaging, we had to go to Israel to get the packaging. A product that can be refrigerated or frozen, that if it thaws by lunch will not kill your kid. These are pretty difficult problems and pretty important problems. But when we listened and heard the passion for this idea of pleasure 24/7, we were much better leaders. So what I'm encouraging is that whatever you're great at, try and do it more often. And what you're going to find, I think, is that when you're in that moment, being that person in that natural ability, you will listen to people and yourself and the consumer and all that goes on around you so much better than when you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable because you're just good at it because you're forcing yourself to be. Do you know what I mean? It's really important, and that's been a real journey for me. You know, I'm at a stage in my career when I'm going to probably do something different, and I need to actually listen to what my natural gifts are, and I am. And right now I'm struggling a little with really hearing it, because how do I make a living at being I'm a venture catalyst. How do I make a living at translating other people's ideas? But I'm going to listen to it and listen to it hard, and if I hear it, I might just find something that really drives me to a new level as a person and a business person. So that kind of concludes my thoughts. I want to thank you for listening. And I just hope this is helpful, because I really believe that as simple as listening and really hearing is as an idea, I think it's one of the great skills in business, in life, and in leadership. And I appreciate your attention this morning. Thank you.